Bianca Belair was back on this week's episode of SmackDown, so WWE found her backstage and followed her to the ring with the camera. Don't know about you, but that's a little bit weird. Also, hello my friends, welcome to Ups and Downs, the only wrestling review show you need with me, Simon Miller. It's nice and simple. We had a show that is called SmackDown. I have opinions on it. If I like something, it gets an up. If I don't like something, it gets a down. You subscribe, you get involved in those comments. Sound good? Let's go. But yes, the EST was back here and she sang Rocky Top, which is a song I presume is familiar with the Knoxville people or the community, and everybody liked it. And then Bianca was like, I love being home. It's my safe space. I thought that was nice. Made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. But for around about 5 minutes, we did just have the crowd sing a song. Now, I want to be that guy. Sometimes I'm that guy. It's almost like SmackDown doesn't need to be 3 hours. She even said how nice it was to stay with her parents and just reset a little bit. And then when she went, welcome to SmackDown, out came Naomi. Now, either Naomi was bored or her real name is actually SmackDown. This was so good as well because she told Bianca Belair they've been trying to chat for ages, and Bianca was like, no, I don't want to talk to you. Meaning, in this wonderful world, Naomi had tried to kill Jade Cargill, who was their friend, and Bianca Belair didn't even want to have a conversation about it. So Naomi said to her, well, you know what? I went to your parents' house earlier, and when you weren't there, I just let myself in. Now, that's one way to put it. A jury would call that breaking and entering. That's a 1 on the crime counter. Naomi then said she went through the family picture album that was on the coffee table, so she's totally insane, but it made her feel warm and fuzzy in her tum-tum because she saw all the pictures of Bianca looking happy, and she was like, man, that used to be us when we were the tag team champions. And I was like, yeah, but then, you know, Naomi, you choose to try to commit murder. I did some research. It usually ends a friendship. Belair then basically threatened to kill Naomi too if she ever does this again. When Naomi was kind of crying, but also probably pretending to cry, and she went, wouldn't it be terrible if your mother ended up in a wheelchair? Now listen, I have serious problems, because now I want Naomi to win Money in the Bank. I do not think that's what we were going for here. It then felt like they were about to fight when Jade Cargill came out, and she just thumped Naomi right in the face when she looked at Bianca Belair, and Bianca Belair looked at her. If I was Bianca, I'd be like, why are you mad at me? I literally did nothing. Unless this is meant to be a tease that maybe Naomi and Bianca are still somehow in cahoots. Have they ever fought or traded blows? I'm not sure they have. And then stupid Nia Jax, I said, no, what are you doing? She interrupted as well. I was like, I wanted to see what was going to happen here. So quite clearly, she is not into crime dramas. At the same time, it was time for a Money in the Bank qualifier. Maybe she just really wanted that briefcase. This was really good though, and even though my nerd brain has added in things like Naomi and Bianca getting back together, which I don't think is going to happen, I still just think there is something here with all of them, and you could probably get to that triple threat match at some point for the Women's Championship. I'm giving it an up. When yes, we did have Naomi versus Jade versus Nia in that Money in the Bank qualifier, I was doing the dance of joy because Naomi won. She really was just wrecking Jade Cargill to begin with when Nia Jax came in with a hip attack. And then all of them were just throwing each other around, including Jade Cargill, who went crazy. I mean, she hit the Jade at one point, but of course, here was Nia, and she broke it up in the 1-2. They were then trading Samoa drops, which was fine for Nia Jax, as she is Samoan, but I do not believe Jade is Samoan when we were getting double cross bodies and all of this madness. And we even had the big old Tower of Doom. Now, this worked out for Nia Jax, because she was on top of the pile. She was like, look, they're both down there. I can hit a double annihilator. But when she went for that, Naomi thought to herself, well, I don't really want that. I don't want to be crushed. She got out of the way when Naomi hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up onto Nia Jax, and she got the 3. This is going to sound weird too, but they didn't really get it in a very smooth way, but they actually made it look more real. So I'm genuinely excited for this because I think Naomi should win. I am so behind that it's ridiculous. Because if anybody was going to cash in the most devious way possible, it would be Naomi. And then you could probably do something Bianca Belair too. Throw it up in the air, catch it up. When SmackDown peaked. Because the Bloodline 2.0 found R-Truth backstage quite literally talking to no one. So Solo's like, he's talking to ghosts again. And Truth was like, are you talking to me? And also, who is this guy? I don't recognize him. Is he your son? It was JC Mateo. Now you really need to watch this because you can see the Bloodline 2.0 holding on for dear life and trying not to laugh when Truth decided I could beat this young whippersnapper. So he went away to get a match booked with Nick Aldis when Jacob Fatu was trying to be tough. But again, you can just see his lip quivering because R-Truth made him laugh. So why do I watch wrestling, my friends? To be entertained. And even though this went for about 4 seconds, I'm giving it an up. It was very funny. Nick Aldis also bumped into Chelsea Green, who's trying to hide her face with a face of herself. So she'd been inspired by Sting. Of course, she was doing this because she did legitimately break her nose at Saturday night's main event. So now she is wearing the most ridiculous face guard you've ever seen in your life. She also thinks Zelina Vega did this on purpose, so she told Nikki, you need to strip her of the title. And it ended with Alba Fyre versus Zelina Vega. And Alba was quite surprised by this, maybe even disappointed. I was like, what are you doing, man? This is your opportunity at a title. You should probably roll with it. Byron Saxton then asked Tiffany Stratton if she could handle the pressure of being the champion. What a troll question that is. She went, well, I've thought about it, Byron, and the answer is yes. I mean, people have always been obsessed with me, and if anyone does try and cash in, they're going to be making a massive mistake. Now, Naomi was literally right here, so how Tiffany saw her, I do not know, but she walked in, she's like, man, I'll cash in on you. And then Alexa Bliss, who was literally here, apparently no one could see her, said, don't worry about Naomi, you should worry about me instead. I guess it's the start of the tease. When, of course, JC Mateo beat R-Truth in around about 2 minutes. Now, Truth did get some offense in here, but actually this was no mercy on N64 rules. Every time Truth tried to pick him up, he wasn't able to. His back went wiggly jiggly, he fell down, and eventually JC hit the Tour of the Islands 1, 2, 3. Again, it went about 90 seconds. Now, JC kicked his ass afterwards when out came Jimmy Uso to make the save, and thank goodness, because Jimbo's not been doing enough recently. But when JC was going to carry on the beatdown of him, Solo was a bit like, no, we shouldn't handle him because maybe they want him back in the bloodline, which is the dumbest thing ever. That's never going to happen. There's more chance of hair sprouting out of my head. So at least we do have something for Jimmy Uso, though, and R-Truth, because again, I like both of them, and there is more to this later, which is a different story. But I am going to give it an up, mostly because JC Mateo got a win. We still need to do more with him and make sure we light a fire under his ass. But I imagine that will happen when it is him versus Fatu. For now, I'm happy to wait and see. The Street Profits were then here, and they said the SmackDown Tag Division is the best one in the world. I was like, well, of course you'd say that. You're the champions of it. Dawkins then ran down all of the teams they had taken on recently and even said those damn Wyatts got involved when out came Fraxium, who I guess thought they said Fraxium, but they didn't. And straight away they were like, oh yeah, those Wyatts, they got involved last week. That wasn't fair. And when the Street Profits went, we had you beat anyway, Axiom just said, well, we will never know. Good point. Machine Guns then walked out and they claimed they'd never been beaten properly, which can't be true, and DIY were also talking. Candice LeRae was like, this is a conspiracy, damn it. And just when it looked like they were about to fight, of course the lights went off. Here were the Wyatts, everybody went nuts. And bless this Nathan Frazier, man. The Sister Abigail he took, it looked wonderful. So I actually do like the fact they've been injected into the tag team scene, and of course that's probably why we brought Candice LeRae back, because Nikki Cross went after her. So we can just pick 2 of these people to go after the tag team titles, and then make sure Nikki has some matches with Candice, and then we can do whatever we want with the rest of them. I just think it works. And yes, eventually they are going to have to cut, I guess, a spooky Wookiee promo explaining this, but I actually think it's lit a fire, I've just said that twice, under the SmackDown Tag Team Division, and for that reason I'm giving it an up. When at first I was like, where the flub did this come from? Because the next match was the Garzans taking on Fenix and Javon Evans from NXT. What? Now, of course, Ethan Page was on commentary, and I was like, oh, we're just building the AAA Worlds Collide show here. I actually thought this served many purposes. One, Ethan Page is just the best bad guy, and he should be on the main roster tomorrow. And Javon Evans, at 21 years of age, has basically just told the entire globe, I can do this, don't worry about it, I got the stuff. Berto was doing springboard moonsaults at one point when Javon was like, you can't outshine me, brother. So he was going nuts as well. When, of course, we got the dives with 2025 and we got double teams. When Ray Phoenix was trying to make the hot tag, and when he wasn't able to do it, Ethan Page on commentary was like, ha ha ha, one idiot. Then, of course, Ray Phoenix did get the warm slap, and this guy ran wild. Fans were super into this as well, as Berto hit this massive bomb of power for a 1-2, as Fenix started to walk the ropes and do stops. But Ethan decided he totally hated this, and he got in the good guys' faces, and when he noticed the referee wasn't doing his job at all, he just wrecked these guys, and he even threw them into out on the announce table. Now, Javon was able to get away, but when he climbed the top rope, there was still too much distraction, so Sanel Escobar went, poop, you're going down. The Garzans hit their finish, 1, 2, 3. So let's just get it out the way, and yes, there's going to be a lot on this episode of Ups and Downs, because I don't care anymore, I've lost my mind. I'm so done of all these distractions, so it's getting it down. Now, if I were you, I'd wait till the end of the show, because I figured this out and I can explain it. But in terms of the match, it was so much fun, and again, we've achieved so much here. Not only did we remind you or tell you that Javon Evans is great, but finally, Angel and Berto got a win. and I checked my history logs, I think the last one was 12:42. It also did build to the Triple A show, which is what you want to be doing. That whole weekend's going to be totally nuts. It was then Zelina Vega versus Alba Fyre. I was like, that does actually sound like a street fight match. And let's just get back into it again, because it is actually going to get it down for two specific reasons. One, Chelsea Green got involved in the finish, so once again it was distractions. But also, we are not doing enough here. You can just hear by the fans. They're not into it. They do not really care about this US Championship. And that has nothing to do with it being brand new. Because if you pop over to Raw with the Women's Intercontinental belt, all the work that Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria have been doing has made it work. So I do not understand why we did this match when Chelsea Green was on the show and we just couldn't have sent her out to the ring to do a bit of a promo. I do believe she knows what she's doing. But yes, like I say, Chelsea jumped on the apron and Alba Fyre almost went into her. So Chelsea kind of fell down to the floor after Zelina got in her area. Vega hit the code red and she won, and I do not believe we will ever talk about this again. And I think here, as much as I like Alba Fyre, it's not like WWE has built her up like a massive threat, so we could have just had a simple win. We weren't able to do it, and that is a down. The Miz then gaslit Carmelo Hayes because he was like, you wouldn't even be in a Money in the Bank qualifier if it wasn't for me. When from nowhere, Melo was like, shut up, I don't like you, I will not do our catchphrase. So I think these guys are about to break up, even though they've only been together around about 2 months. WWE loves doing that. And if you do intend on joining the company tomorrow, I wouldn't make any friends, because like I say, you are going to fall out really fast. We then had this really awesome video for Julia, and we saw Julia bump into Zelina Vega, so we should do that title change double quick when out came Damian Priest. And man, I thought he did a really good job on his promo. Because he's like, listen, Drew, I did beat you. I don't like you, but I do respect you. But your ass is in the past, and because that rhymes, do you know who I want to go back after now? It's you, Jacob Fatu, and I want that US title. Damo even mentioned that he does respect Jacob, because of course we are turning him babyface, but he does not like this crew who he's running with, which is Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo and some other people, I'm sure, at some point, because they never die and they just keep on coming, and that's why he wants a big match soon. And when he was leaving, do you know who he bumped into? It was Jacob Fatu. Jacob looked at him, and Damian looked at him, because these are wrestlers, and now they're super serious 9,000. And the reason Jacob was here as well is because it was time for the Money in the Bank qualifier. Him versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. All I'm going to do is tell you to find 20 minutes today and watch this. It was really flubbing good. Fatu and Andrade even worked together for a little while, because I think they went face and the other guy's a heel. But eventually that broke down when they started going for pins, which is always the way. Then it was you go, I go, we all go. We had dives to 2025, and Jacob Fatu was doing hip attacks because he loves that move. Genuinely. There was a small part of my brain that was like, we should have done this for the US Championship, because it really would have leveled up that belt. Of course, The Miz then decided he would grab Jacob Fatu's foot, which was the dumbest idea ever. And for just a split second, I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Because Jacob Fatu killed him into Barricade. So I was like, that's great. There goes our interference. Look at my face. This is not true. Andrade then stopped Jacob from doing the moonsault and hit a moonsault of his home, which of course Carmelo Hayes broke up at the 1-2-0. And then yes, I frowned a bit because out came the Bloodline. I was like, don't worry about it, Simon. I'm sure they just know that everybody has filled their meters and all the finishes are about to happen. And in that sense, they timed it perfectly. It was literally you go, we all go. We then got the whole Humpty Dumpty, we all fall down moment because everybody was on the floor. When Fatu wrecked Andrade with this DDT and he hit the moonsault, which is when Solo Sikoa, did make me laugh, got up on the ring apron and said, well, I've got a great idea. You should do it again. And then JC was like, he makes a really good point. You should do it again. Like he's flipping Britney Spears and surprise, surprise, did this work? No, it did not. And Jacob Fatu was totally confused. Because of that as well, this is what I was talking about earlier. I have figured it out. Because as well as distractions and interference, I am now going to introduce confusion to the mix. And if you put that together, it's the DIC. Or Dick. Oh no, what have I done? Anyway, because they all fell out, Andrade just threw Jacob Fatu out the ring. He hit the message and he got the 1, 2, 3. Jacob Fatu was so mad here because of course he was. But at the same time, Andrade qualifying for Money in the Bank, I'm good with this. So yes, you do have to give this an up because it was so good, but otherwise, Dick is happening all of the time. I shouldn't have done this, whoops. I made a terrible error. But that part gets it down. We just don't need distractions, interference, and confusion in every single match, because more is not more. And maybe it's just my pet peeve, but hey, I watch all the shows. You're allowed to have a pet peeve, that's okay, down. LA Knight then promised he was going to win Money in the Bank, but he did get into it with Aleister Black, so we continued to use that program, when Jacob Fatu was quite literally walking around backstage saying he is sick and tired of Dick. I mean, Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo interfering, and if they do it again, well, he will turn babyface and become a good guy. When Well, as they say in the football game or the soccer game, it was a game of two halves. Because the best part was Cody Rhodes came out and man, he was just such a hero to these fans, and he's a hero to me. And the first thing I thought was, SmackDown hasn't been the same without you, Cody, and it's true. He also talked about the fact he had to go away for a while after WrestleMania, and he was so damn hurt he even asked a friend, was I a good champion? When that friend said, you were the best champion, Cody, he was like, all right, that's good. He also talked about the fact that if John Cena is trying to ruin wrestling, Cody is now involved, because he hesitated at WrestleMania, but listen to me, damn it, I'm never going to hesitate again. He also went through some of the feuds he has had over the past year, and even went, the final boss wanted me to sell my soul, and I do believe that offer will be on the table for life. So that story has returned with a vengeance. Cody Rhodes then told us he had a surprise, and I was like, oh man, please be a Switch 2. But actually it was Jey Uso, and to be fair, it was way better than Nintendo's new console because this crowd went totally crazy, especially when Jey was like, man, yeet yeet, I'm gonna do my entrance again. Well, I think John Cena must have been in the back going, you know what, I really want to troll them, and he interrupted. And I would say he does get all the boos, because he does, but eventually people cheer him anyway. He instantly said that Cody and Jey would just want to be pro wrestlers, and also you'll just want to be John Cena's. So I think that's what the Spice Girls song was all about. And he carried on too, because he said, Cody, you're desperate, and Jey, you're lazy. And if all of a sudden he had removed his face mask like in Mission Impossible, and revealed that he was actually a Reddit user, I'd gone, yep, that checks out. Then of course, there's only one man who these days represents hustle, loyalty, and respect, and it's Logan Paul, who also came out to all the cheers. John Cena was just like, man, he's the only dude that gets WWE, and he's a real pro wrestler. And he was just saying this stuff to piss people off, but a lot of it was like in riddles. I was like, what the flub are you talking about? Paul then said he could walk on water and people would still be like, well, that's great, man, but why can't you swim? And essentially, he is just mad that nobody will respect him because he's the greatest pro wrestler ever and everybody else sucks. And I was like, all right, you can say these things, it doesn't make it true. We were then told our lives will peak when we do see Logan Paul and John Cena tag together. That's like when somebody told me, oh, the best days of your life is going to be when you're at school. And I was like, that better not be true. This absolutely sucks. When Logan was like, if somebody had told you 5 years ago I would have been a wrestler, you would have been surprised. I was like, that point is accurate. Nobody also thought he'd be tagging with John Cena, and that is when Cody said something like, I'm going to polish your peacemaker. So that sounds like a euphemism. I do not want to see that on my TV. But it was just their trigger word, I guess, to attack the bad guys. And this episode of SmackDown ended with a good guy standing tall and with Cody Rhodes holding that championship. So I would guess that John Cena and Logan Paul do win at Money in the Bank. Then come SummerSlam, it's Cody Rhodes versus John Cena Part 2. And Cody is walking home with the gold. So once again, yes, just seeing Cody Rhodes there, just being the absolute man, has to get an up because it got me excited. But there's that word. I'm just not excited about this tag team match at Money in the Bank. I tried, what? It's just not for me. I can just take it or leave it, and as always, I want to make it clear, if you're super pumped for it and you cannot wait, that's the best thing ever. That's what wrestling should do. But if we are going to watch 52 weeks of programming a year, not every single thing can be for me. And this one just isn't. I'm like, I don't really care. And I don't care. I have to give it a down. I'll be quite happy when we're just back to Cody versus John. Otherwise though, this was a decent episode of SmackDown. I found myself very compelled by it, and I am excited for the Money in the Bank matches themselves. I'm not 100% sure who's going to win. And on Raw, I think it's CM Punk versus AJ Styles versus El Grande Americano. So we're in the Phantom Zone. But in terms of SmackDown, up. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs for Monday Night Raw, and just support the show as much as you can. Now, I must go lay down because it's 100 degrees here in the UK. I'll see you soon.